Coming up on this week's edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf, we'll look back at the Eagles' big win over the Loyola Greyhounds. Also, we'll look back at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and we look forward to the Eagles game at Bucknell against the Bison. It all starts right now. Welcome into AU Hoop Talk, presented by Launchbox Golf. Dan Lang, Coach Brennan, and Coach, let's jump right into it. Coming off a couple really good wins, especially the W over Loyola, 81-76. Talk about finishing games. That doesn't really seem to be something that happened early this season, but something you guys are now able to do in tighter games.
Those experiences in those games early on in the season helped us, be able to do it at this time. Connor's new, Jameer's new. And they're, major players in what we're doing. They're going to be in at the end of the game. So them just getting comfortable with, understanding the situation, understanding each other, how to get open. Connor being comfortable to throw long passes. He's done that a few times in the last few games, So just him being comfortable enough and confident enough in whoever he's thrown it to that they're going to get it and cut where they're supposed to cut. So it's just, again, it just goes back to experience and, just having those experiences under your belt.
Now, we talked about earlier this season, we talked a lot about chemistry on the team, but as you said, Connor's getting more minutes. He's started the last couple of games. So, you inject a new piece there, and Andy's new to the program as a whole, but he seems to really be getting comfortable, feeling comfortable with your system, the guys, and on the same page with everybody.
Yeah, all he tries to do is listen to what we say. There's no
which is a good thing.
Yeah. It's unusual. You would think it wouldn't be, but he just, you tell him something, and he's like, okay, and he tries to do it immediately. He's got really, really good instincts, and he goes after. He does a bunch of other things like going after offensive rebounds, getting steals, hands tipping balls, rebounding, and he can be on the perimeter. He can be in the post a little bit. Good passer and obviously making shots. So he does a lot. He just plays with energy, plays the game. We need that.
And you look at the 3-point situation that he shoots from. He had 5 in the game against Army. He had 3 against Loyola, who really contained him offensively in the second half. But that one shot he did get, he made the most of because it pulled you within 1 late.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to his feel for the game. He knows when he's open. He's not just trying to get up threes. When other guys he's covered, other guys are open, he just naturally makes the pass. If there's a drive to be made, he drives. And he's just real comfortable, shots nice and easy, so he's always on balance and, ready to shoot.
Now, shockingly, we've waited a few minutes to get into a lot on Saeed, but one of the things with Saeed, when you take a look at free throws, which is not necessarily one of his strong points, but you go back to the game against Loyola, where he hit 9 of 10 and obviously in overtime helped you guys come away with the win up there. He shot 38 of his 44 from the free throw line, including the last game against Loyola here at Bender Arena. Is that something that you talked to him about, or something that he's just been working more on to get more comfortable from the charity stripe to here down the stretch, make sure that when he gets there, because he knows he's going to get there, that he makes them count?
He knows that. So, the statistics, they don't account for, last minute, foul shots and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to have the ball in his hands. He's confident. I'm confident in him. He's been doing a great job of knocking them down late.
You talk about confidence. That's something that the entire team seems to be playing with. And I realize that winning breeds confidence. But it really seems like the guys on the floor aren't timid. And even when they're down, they're playing with a certain urgency, a certain confidence, it seems like.
Yeah, all we sort of talk about is just, sharing the ball and getting a good shot. So it doesn't matter who takes the shot or what the shot is. It could be a drive for Jameer or a 3-point shot for Saeed or, it doesn't really matter. It's just as long as we're sharing the ball, looking for each other, and everybody understands what, essentially what a good shot is. They should all be confident out there because that's how we coach and what we preach. And then, as long as they're just, communicating and working hard on D, that's essentially all we ask. And they're doing it, they're doing it.
What are a couple of things that you look at to define a good shot? Something that you're okay with them taking. Maybe they don't necessarily make it, but what are a couple of things that you look at to define?
Well, being open would be a good thing because they're all, good offensive players, and they can sort of create their own shot, but they can get by their guy, they can throw passes. So when you have that many weapons on the court, you should normally wind up with essentially an open shot, drive to the rim, a strong post move, whatever it may be. So, I give our post guys a lot of credit too, because it's a really, really hard thing to do for them to score and score aggressively and be able to pass it out to the shooters when guys collapse on them. That's a real difficult skill. And Mark is terrific at it. Josh is good at it. YY's good at it. So. I think they're all just looking for each other, which is great.
You mentioned the bigs, and in the game against Loyola here at Bender Arena the other night, you at times went with a couple. You went with Josh and Mark on the floor at the same time. Talk about that decision, and it worked. It seemed to flow well. The guys gelled.
Yeah. Well, the first part is they've all continued to work hard, and they're all into it. They're all ready. So maybe Josh doesn't play a ton in one game, but he'll play more so in another. The same with YY. So they all give you just, a little something different. So when one guy, maybe it's a bad matchup or whatever it may be, you feel confident in going to the next guy. YY just brings so much energy and toughness. He makes, tough plays. He's challenging shots at the rim. He's blocking shots. He's getting, actually it doesn't show up on the stats, his rebounding. He's doing all the physical, labor of getting the rebound other than getting the ball. So he's, boxing 2 and 3 people out, and somebody else goes in there and swoops up the rebound, which is great. But it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. But he's just giving us what an upperclassman should be giving you.
Now you talk about the stat sheet after the game the other night against Loyola. You were talking about YY, and you said, if being where you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to do is a stat, he'd be perfect. So, it's one of those things, again, where stats are great, but they don't always tell the full story of a player or a game.
Yeah, no, they can be a little deceptive. And as a coach, you know what you're looking for. And YY's, just doing everything that we need him to do. So, he may not get a block shot, but he may be jumping up and challenging a shot and making it difficult and, forcing a guy to miss. So that's something that doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but he does it 10 or 12 times a game. So you just want the guys to understand what's important and to be doing those things. The same thing on offense. The hockey assist is something that you don't have it in basketball, but coaches and fans and players see it. Just making the extra pass. So it's little things like that. So as long as your team's playing together and sharing the ball and communicating and playing tough on defense. Hopefully the stat that's important is just the score at the end of the game.
YY seems to really be hitting that stride here as we hit the home stretch on the Patriot League season and into the postseason. What are some things that he is really doing right now that are clicking for him?
Just putting pressure on on the other team, both sides of the ball. Just going after offensive rebounds, going after defensive rebounds, and that he's just all about winning. So he may miss a shot or something, but the next time down on defense, he's talking, he's communicating. Doesn't hang his head or anything. He's asking me certain questions. Should I be up on that or on that ball screen or whatever it may be. So he's just all about winning right now, and that's what we need.
And you've got to like that as a coach when he thirsts the knowledge and sits there and even as long as he's been around the program, is still asking you questions and wanting to get it right.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how much knowledge I can give him, but I'm glad that he's in tune, and hopefully the younger guys are seeing what's really important down the stretch.
Time for our first time out here on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. Last week was an important week and a fun week in AU athletics because the latest class of the Stafford H. Pop Cassell Hall of Fame was inducted, including basketball player Ray Ruling, volleyball player Rubena Sukai, field hockey's Irene Schickhardt, and wrestler Mike Cannon. Let's take a look.
The Athletics Hall of Fame here at American stands as an ongoing tribute to legendary student-athlete, coach, and administrator Stafford Pop Cassell. His amazing contributions live on through this fitting tribute to Pop's lasting impact on our university.
When I came to AU in the fall of 1964, I had some personal goals. Number one was to have a successful basketball career. Number two was to score 1,000 points, a personal goal back in the day that actually meant something. And three, to become a member of the Hall of Fame. And with this honor tonight, I have come full circle, and I cannot thank American University enough.
I'm very honored to be introduced into the Hall of Fame at American University today. But I'm standing here today knowing that I could never have achieved this alone. Instead, it has been a team effort. Hence, I think it is time to say thank you. First, thank you to American University, to the athletic department, and to AUFH for providing me an environment and spirit that welcomed and embraced me, but also pushed me to always work hard on the field and in school.
It's an honor for me to have the opportunity to stand before you tonight as an inductee of the 2020 American University Athletic Hall of Fame class. I'm truly humbled and honored to be in this year's class with Irene, Mike, and Ray. This is an accomplishment that I will always cherish with great pride. First, I would like to personally thank and acknowledge Jack Cassell and the Cassell family for all they do for the athletics department and our university. Please know that your support is appreciated and makes a huge impact on our experience as student athletes at AU.
So first and foremost, I just want to thank American University, the athletic administration, the Cassell family, and everybody that has made tonight possible. It is an honor to stand up here with my fellow inductees and join many greats that are part of this Hall of Fame. What a ride, what a journey. It truly was just a culmination of everything that you work hard and you train for. What an absolute journey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be standing up here and receiving this award. Thank you.
And congratulations to our 4 inductees. For more on them and the rest of the Hall of Fame, be sure and check out aueagles.com. We'll take another timeout. As we continue, Mike Brennan rejoins the conversation as we look forward to the Eagles' next game.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. And Coach, you had a chance. You went to the Hall of Fame banquet, and always a fun event, especially when there's a basketball player that's being inducted.
Yeah, no, Ray Ruling got inducted, and it was fun just sitting with him, talking about all times in the game, how much things have changed, and a lot of how much they've remained the same. But I was real happy for him.
Radar Ray Ruling. He said that. Well, it's not just him saying it. His points total would have gone up had there been a 3-point line at that point. So
yeah, well, it's true. I mean, he was a shooter, and you kind of see that argument this year with the line being moved back. I mean, guys are still taking I don't know what the numbers are, but our guys are still taking as many 3-pointers as they normally would take. We're shooting just our normal percentage. So, guys that can shoot, the line doesn't really affect them. So I would suspect the same for a guy like Ray, who was known as a shooter. It wouldn't have affected him at all, and he would have scored a ton more points, and a bunch of guys would have too.
Yeah. So let's jump into game moving forward, which is Bucknell, the Bison. You beat them here at Bender Arena, and beat them with a buzzer beater by Connor Nelson. So played the Bison tight in that game, but came away with the win. Other than a win, what are you looking for this time when you go up to Lewisburg?
Well, actually, much like Loyola, it's a different team. I mean, Bruce Moore and Tommy Funk didn't play in that game. So two, major contributors offensively and defensively. So that'll have a huge impact. And then they, the way they play, they're sort of switching 1 through 5, and they're man-to-man, so that can, present some problems. So each game with our team, whoever your opponent is, they present sort of a different issue. Loyola plays this man and this zone that's kind of hard to crack. So now you go to Bucknell and you have, essentially 2 days to prepare for, switching and everything that they do. So I think our guys have been terrific at kind of zeroing in on who their opponent is, what the major themes are that we have to do offensively and defensively, and hopefully we're a different team since then too. Hopefully we've improved, and guys are more comfortable, and we just said Ben, hopefully he's more comfortable out there than he was X amount of games ago. So I think we're heading in that direction, but we'll see on Saturday.
And the guys able to make the in-game adjustments, like you mentioned the game against Loyola and the zone that they bring. You guys had to make an adjustment to it in order to come away with the W against the Greyhounds.
Yeah, and I think the guys are just comfortable on the court. So it may not be executed perfectly, but I think they're comfortable enough where they know, okay, the play didn't work, or this guy isn't open. But let's just take care of the ball, move, have confidence in each other, which happened against Loyola, and hopefully it'll be happening, moving forward.
And against the Bison, anytime that you see a Nathan Davis team, the head coach up there, that they're going to bring something special to that game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they got a great program, and they got a bunch of really good players on that team. Guys that can score, that can move, that can push the ball in transition, do a lot of different things. Bruce Moore is a really, really tough matchup. Meeks is a tough matchup, and everybody that they have. They got the shooting. They got older players. Toomer's a senior that can score and make threes. So a lot of weapons. A lot of things to sort of keep in mind. So we just gotta understand you gotta bring energy and be ready to compete. Home, away. 7 p.m., 2 p.m., it doesn't matter. You got to be ready to go.
And you speak of energy, they get pretty good crowds up there in Lewisburg, and that adds a bunch of energy. How much does that affect the visiting team? How much does that affect you guys on the road up there?
I think guys like it. It's always good to play in a crowded arena with fans that are excited, and whether you're the home team or away team, I don't think it really matters. So, but I think more importantly, our guys understand the importance of each of these games.
Well, best of luck against Bucknell.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All right, that's Coach. I'm Dan. We'll see you next time. Follow the Eagles everywhere on all the social media platforms.